Hey, it's Clip of the Day time where Buck Sexton and I pick out the best hot take, the most fun that we had for all of you to be able to experience on the show.
That's right, and this segment is brought to you by ExpressVPN, which is the virtual private network that we trust to protect our online data.
When I use ExpressVPN, the big tech companies can't see my IP address, my identity is anonymized, and my data's encrypted. That gives me the absolute maximum protection.
And what I like is how easy it is to use. Just download the app to your phone or computer, and you're protected. So visit expressvpn.com/patriot today, and you'll get an extra 3 months free, or you can click on the link in the description below.
That's expressvpn.com/patriot, and now it's time for the clip of the day.
Can you think of anything, Buck, that you're remotely optimistic about getting better? And I think that's where a lot of Americans are right now as we get ready for this Virginia election and we start to pivot towards next year. You're not only, as the president, selling a better reality, you're selling a better future. Does anyone out there, I mean, just anyone listening right now, can you even think and spin an optimistic story in anything that the president is involved in other than, again, COVID is unlikely to be as bad in 2022 as it was in 2021, the natural evolution of that virus. But the border, inflation, the overall economic malaise in this country, to me, there is no reason to believe that Biden or this administration is going to make any of that better. Do you have any? Is there any optimism in your mind right now, Buck? Because we try to be happy warriors on the show. I'm optimistic that COVID is not going to be as bad next year as it is this year. But other than that, which has nothing to do with the president, is there anything you're optimistic about at all?
No, but I can see where the narrative will go. Right now, they're out of gas, man. High gas prices, too.
Yeah.
But, you know, they don't have any maneuverability because it's so apparent that what they said would happen this year has not happened. I mean, the border, which it's so interesting. This is one of those places where there's a tremendous separation between elite opinion, journo opinion, and the opinion of the American people. Immigration as an issue in all the polling is top 3, top 4 you'll see nationwide as a concern of the American people. It always hangs, it's right around, it's basically the economy, healthcare, immigration, right? Those things are always at the top of concerns, month in, month out, year in, year out. And the border is worse than it's ever been. They're going to have for the fiscal year the official numbers for illegal crossings and migrant encounters and all this stuff. And it may be an all-time record. That's what we're looking at right now. That's just one example of a place that it's impossible to spin that as anything other than they are failing. They can try the usual, teary-eyed, we're a nation of immigrants and all this stuff. They'll do the emotional manipulation. My concern is, as you know, I've been worried that there'll be a sense of momentum in the next year because COVID, based on natural immunity alone, I think is going to be not as bad as it was last winter. That's kind of what I'm starting to think now. It'll be bad, but not what we saw before. I don't know. But once we get into the spring, Clay, we get into the summertime, if they get a big spending package through, what are they going to do? They're going to say, judge us not by what you have seen so far, but by all the free, quote unquote, goodies that we will be distributing to you in the months and years ahead. And the rich are the only ones who pay for it. And they then hope that people don't recognize, because the media is in their back pocket, the way that the day-to-day expenses of their lives have gone up, the way that their business is not thriving the way that it was beforehand. I mean, all those very tangible, obviously gas prices, as I mentioned before, all those tangible things, they're hoping to overcome that with a narrative of, we are going to give you lots and lots of stuff that we'll just conjure out of thin air / take from the rich people. That's what they're going to say.
And they're trying to get that done, by the way, by the end of October. That's the deadline on this budget reconciliation, on this infrastructure bill. And I do think that COVID is going to trend positive no matter who's in office, because we can't continue at the same level of infection that we've had before. But I just think that things are going to continue to spiral more and more out of control, Buck. And we're not even talking. I mean, we know what the disaster happened in Afghanistan, but you and I were talking because, as we say, a lot of times our conversation just continues to roll during commercial breaks. I am increasingly afraid that something is going to come to a head in Taiwan. And so as we are arguing about the disasters that are going on with the Biden administration, we're not even talking about anything that's unexpected and could be negative, right? Like that is, we can say, hey, supply chain's going to be a major issue. That's easy to forecast. We can say the border's going to be a disaster. That's easy to forecast. We can say, hey, defunding the police has become such a disaster. Having thousands of police officers who are not going to be on the streets because they're either retiring or refusing to get the COVID vaccine, all of that's imminently predictable. We haven't really had a unexpected negative story for the Biden administration. They've caused all of their own disasters so far.
As anyone who's been in enough scraps will tell you, it's the punch in the bar fight you don't see coming that's often the most dangerous. And certainly the Biden administration is playing heavy defense right now because of all those things we've been talking about laying out. And it's year one, too. You would think that with vaccinations out there and with all these different things that you were led to believe, we're all led to believe we're going to make things so much better, they'd be in a much stronger position than they are. But I have to say, I think that the Biden administration is even a little surprised themselves at how inept they are. That's where I really think. I think they believed they'd be in a better place with a lot of this. There were a lot of this stuff, the socialism and the trade-offs and the rich, the class warfare and the social justice nonsense they talk about. Yeah, they know that's ideological stuff. That's for the base. I don't think, Clay, they believed that they would be in a place where they would have so many things going against them, inflation, millions and millions of unfilled jobs, a lot of people so freaked out still about COVID, beyond what is rational.
Unnecessarily,
that
right.
I think they can't undo that. I think they've created a sort of monster of psychology here in a way, and now they don't know what to do about it. So what are we seeing? A Biden administration that is floundering and that's looking for excuses. I mean, just, what was it, a couple of days ago, we had Pete Buttigieg out there, the transportation secretary, saying, things are great. Look at all the people that want to buy stuff. So many people want to buy stuff. It's like, well, yeah, but if it's not on the shelf and that commerce isn't getting done and the prices are all rising because of inflation, that's not something that people celebrate. And so now it's moved to, hey, we're in a tough time, folks. Don't worry. Biden will get us better. I mean, his slogan has been Build Back Better. It should really be lower your expectations.